Hey everybody, Adam Guthrie here, founder of I Feel Good magazine, and I'm super excited today because I've got a very special guest with me, somebody that I've known for a very long time and followed her vegan journey from the get-go, way back when she used to work for us when I was the manager of Natural Necessity Surf Shop in Gerringong. But now she has built some amazing vegan businesses in Bali. Her name's Lol Camilleri. She's one of the co-founders of Kind Cafe in Bali and Give Warung in Bali, and now the Kind Creamery. Lol, welcome. Super stoked to have you here. So good to catch up. Haven't seen you for a little while. How's it going?
Thank you. Hey, Az. I'm super stoked to be here as well. Finally.
Finally, huh? So good to catch up. So Let's start out. Tell us about your 3 businesses, because it's been an amazing journey to see you create these and manifest these and turn them into amazing gifts to the world where we can all go and eat amazing food. And but tell us about Kind, tell us about Give, and tell us about the Kind Creamery.
Yeah, so we have 3 cafes now, all of which are 100% plant-based vegan. Our big baby is Kind. We are located in Seminyak in Bali. The concept of Kind is our number one mission is to spread kindness, and we do that through our food, through the atmosphere, through our staff, we want people to come there and experience not only the food, but walk out of Kind feeling better than when they did when they arrived. So through Kind, the food we offer at Kind is everything that you would normally find on a regular menu. So all your favorites, all the typical food, but we've made it plant-based. We've just opened we were about a 30-seater cafe when we first opened, and we've just opened the extension of Kind. We've been operating for about 2 months now, and we now have about 80 seats, and we're serving about 600 people a day, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so that's our big baby. That's our that's our real proud mum moment. But we also have the Creamery, which is the latest addition to the family. We opened that about 2 weeks ago. We serve 100% plant-based ice cream. It is delicious, but it's also very dangerous because now I eat ice cream for breakfast, lunch and dinner, and you know me, ads. I can't, if there's ice cream in front of me, I can't say no. We've opened the Creamery in the old Kind, so in our smaller cafe we've now turned that into, we also sell plant-based merchandise, so clothing lines, shoes, some cool bits and pieces. And then we have Give Cafe. So Give Cafe is 100% plant-based warung, which is a local Indonesian cafe where we give 100% of our profits to charity, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so we serve, that's more of an Indonesian influence menu. So we have pretty much everything you'd normally find on an Indonesian menu, which usually serves meat, but we've made with plant-based substitutes.
Wow. Well, I'm super impressed, because to get where you've got now starts, it's been a journey to get there. And I want to delve into your journey. I just want to congratulate you on doing amazing work in the world, like 600 meals a day. Like, that's incredible. That's like so much good, so much more compassion, less animals are suffering or being killed. You're doing good for the planet, and you're doing good for people's bodies. Like, that's 600 less meat meals a day. Like, that's incredible work that you're doing.
Planting seeds.
Yeah, planting seeds. And I got to say, guys, some listening to this will have been to Kind. And when I went, when it was little, I haven't been for a little while, and because I haven't been back to Bali for a bit. And I tell you, the food is amazing, And when you talk about, the philosophy is about Kind, you feel that vibe in there. You come in and you feel love, and you leave feeling loved, and it's a very special place. So I want to know how this journey started. How did you become vegan?
Ooh, okay. We have to take it back a few years.
Yeah.
It would have been about 10 to 15 years ago, actually. I first went vegetarian. So it was thanks to my older sister, Tanya. She came up to us one day and she's like, Lol, we need to stop eating meat. And I was like, okay, a bit thrown back by a comment. I was like, tell me more, why? And she said, I've read this book and it's told me about the cruelty behind the animal agriculture industry and it's really not cool and we need to stop eating meat. And I was like, okay. I'm like, cool, Tan, like you do your thing. Like I support you with your journey, but I don't know if this one's for me. Anyway, my older sister, Amy, so I've got two older sisters and we're all pretty close. Usually if one person does one thing, we all follow suit. Amy also came up to me and she's like, Lol, we need to stop eating meat. And I was like, oh, damn it. Now you're both doing it. I'm like, all right, like, give me this book. Amy also read the book. She's like, okay, let me read this book that you guys have been reading and then I'll make the call for myself. Anyway, so I read this book. It's called Skinny Bitch, which basically explains what goes on before an animal is slaughtered and how the animal is slaughtered so that it can get to our plate. And yeah, I was pretty shocked by it all. So that first turned me vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for about 10 years and then we transitioned to a vegan diet about 4 years ago when, same thing again, I get a call up from my sisters and the girl's like, Lol, we need to go vegan. It's like, oh, not again. I'm like, just let me eat my eggs, let me eat my cheese. Like, I love cheese. I'm not stopping cheese or ice cream. Like, I'm like, okay, like, tell me now, like, what's going on? Why do we need to go vegan? And it was actually when one of our best friends, James Aspey, was starting his year of silence. He did the Voiceless 365, which you know about. I'm sure a lot of other vegans also know about. He called us up one day. He's like, girls, I'm going to do Stop Talking for a year to raise awareness for the voiceless victims of the planet. And then he asked us, he's like, you girls are vegan, right? And we're like, yeah, like, you know, we still eat eggs, we still eat dairy. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you know, you're the ones that are telling me originally about vegetarian. Like, we can't, like, you do realize the cruelty behind the dairy industry and the eggs and the free range eggs that you're eating. I'm like, okay, like, all right, tell me more. Like, what do I need? Like, what do we need to do now? Anyway, so he gave us the links for some information about dairy and the rest of it. And then again, me and my sisters were like, all right, girls, like, we got to do it. Like, we got to go vegan. I was like, in the back of my mind, I'm like, no, like, please, no, how do I get myself out of this one? But then anyway, we did a lot of research, watched a lot of documentaries, and yeah, once you know, like, there's so much information out there now, and it was enough to, yeah, we had a good why as we were doing it. We're like, all right, we know that we've got to stop supporting this industry. Now we've just got to stop eating all of the all of the products.
Which is the best way to do it, right? Is to just stop consuming them.
Yeah.
If you want to participate and you realise the suffering that happens, and the only thing you can really do is stop eating it if you want to. Is to stop eating it. Because then
exactly.
Just instantly.
Well,
doesn't
I know,
it?
because originally I thought, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just stop, you know, maybe just on weekends I'll have pizza, or like maybe just on weekends I can have like these things, or, you know, like maybe eat less of it. It's just, you're still like, it doesn't matter how many, like, you know, if you eat it once or you eat it twice a week, you're still supporting the industry. So that's it. You just have to stop.
Yeah.
And
I remember that book. I remember the three of you girls coming into the surf shop, like, you got to get it. You read this, man. Read this.
And you were already there. You're like,
I was a vegetarian.
Yeah, I know. Like, I remember when you were telling me you were veg. I'm like, oh, Ads, you're crazy. I'm like, what are you doing?
And then I remember when you did make the shift vegan, all three of you. Remember, you all came around to our place in Kiama, and we all sat down in the lounge. Remember? And it was Tanya there, you, and I think Amy was there.
And getting really excited about it.
Yeah, getting excited about it, and you're just starting to contemplate, what are we going to do in our lives, you know? And I think Tanya wanted to start her in the Soul Shine, and you're all talking about that. It was so much fun. And you were into Aspie, I'd never heard of Aspie, and you guys, that was the first time I heard of Aspie, was there. And you went, gosh,
I remember that.
I heard of Aspie, come on, he's vegan. I'd already become vegan at that stage because of the heart attack. But it was so exciting. So when you made that change 4 or 5 years ago, was it difficult to drop the dairy and the eggs?
I guess any change initially is challenging at the start, whether change from eating meat to not eating meat, or any change it's unfamiliar territory. So it was challenging at the start to stop eating cheese, especially. We're all addicted to cheese. However, I was fortunate enough, now there are so many substitutes, with milk or with cheese or with ice cream. There's so good ice cream. There's bio cheese. There's all of these different substitutes. So the challenge is figuring out what to substitute it with. You're like, okay, cool. I can't have cow's milk, but now I can have almond milk or soy milk or date, all these different milks that you can get. But so initially it's challenging because you don't really know what you can and can't eat, or what you should replace things with, or what has egg in them or what has dairy in them. But after 2 weeks, it's it becomes easy. It becomes second nature. You start to for me, the more information and the more reason I had as to why I was doing it, it was, I would look at pizza, whereas before I would look at pizza and be like, oh my God, melted cheese, the smell of it would make my mouth water. I'd look at it and it's I'd no longer look at it as cheese anymore. It's I'd have the flashbacks of the videos or the stuff that I've read, and it's well, it's actually not that yummy anymore, It's I would look at it in a completely new, different eyes. So initially it was challenging because I didn't know what I could eat, but after 2 weeks, once you do the research as to why, then it's pretty simple.
Yeah, it is simple, and it does become easier. It's the why. It always comes back to the why.
Exactly.
So why did you end up wanting to open up a cafe, which is kind at the start? How did that start? Why did that start?
Okay, so I first started with a little sandwich and juice bar here in Bali that I opened up with my boyfriend at the time. I was 19 years old. I've been in hospitality my whole life. I love food. I love working with people. So I've always really wanted to have my own cafe. Anyway, we had an opportunity, me and my ex, that we opened a small sandwich and juice bar called Switch. At that stage, we were serving meat. I was still vegetarian. I was nowhere near as passionate as I was today. However, I did the full vegetarian menu on there also. Anyway, once our relationship ended, we went different ways, and I was in search of my new little passion project. I got a phone call from my best friend, and she's like, well, we want you to come and help us out with our menu. If you could create our menu here in Bali, we were opening this cafe. And at that stage, I had just gone vegan. I remember I got the call and I was like, should I do it? I don't know. And I was like, no, I need to do, if I'm to help her, it needs to be vegan. And I was like, babe, I'm actually vegan now. I'd love to help you. However, here's a bunch of documentaries, here's a bunch of information. You guys watch it and see if this is an industry you want to support, and if you're interested in doing a vegan menu. Anyway, fortunately, her and her boyfriend called me back up the next morning. They're like, whoa, what was all of that stuff we just watched? And let's open a vegan cafe. When can you get here? We need you ASAP. And
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing that you stuck to your true convictions, your true values.
Yeah.
And it switched someone from opening a cafe that was normal to something that was vegan.
Yeah, like, I mean, I think they were always intending it. They wanted it to be like, you know, serving organic, and they wanted it to be a conscious cafe. And my best friend, she's really open-minded. And, you know, like most of us, we're just not really aware of like this industry, or we just think like we don't really know the background or what happens prior, you know, the cruelty behind this industry. So a lot of people, when they do watch that or they do find out this information, they do realize that it's something that they don't want to support. So fortunately, this happened overnight for them. And yeah, they called me and they're like, lol, like, let's do this. I was like, all right. Like instantly I had this like overwhelming fear of like self-doubt and all of those things that you have when you're about to like commit yourself to something new. But for me, it was creating 100% plant-based menu was completely out of my league. Like, yeah, I had created a small menu for Switch before. However, it was a couple of sandwiches and a couple of juices. So for me to commit myself to a menu, to create a menu, like ads, I didn't even really know how to cook at this stage. Like I literally, like I remember when I was like, I didn't even know how to cook rice. I didn't even really know how to cook lentils. Like I remember watching YouTube videos on like how to cook lentils. Like, so yeah, it's been a journey. So,
but that was an amazing menu. And it still is an amazing menu. Like, I remember you developing that menu, and what were the, you know, that is a challenge if you never developed a menu before, but I tell you, it was super good. And I remember eating it, tasting it for the first time, and go, oh my God, what have you done here? And it was something so new, something so fresh, and the food and the presentation. Like, how did you get over that hurdle of the self-doubt? Beliefs that you couldn't do it, but still get through that to end up with something so successful, which you help this other, you know, there's friends of yours develop an amazing cafe.
Yeah, well, the biggest thing that got me through it is my why. Like, I feel with anything in life, like if you have a really solid why you're doing something, then you just figure out how. Like for me, I was like, okay, I don't know how the hell I'm going to create this menu, but I want to spread this message. Like I want to create a vegan menu. You've got this, Lola. I remember just sitting there and I had all of these feelings and these emotions, and I wanted to pull the pin and be like, nah, like you're crazy. What are you doing? Like you can't do this. Like had this little devil in my mind. And I just sat there and I was like, I've got this. Like I've got this. So just take it like baby steps, like with the help of YouTube and a lot of vegan cooking books. I just watched numerous YouTube videos, like did research, like read lots of recipe books, and just, slowly figured it out. Like just basically how I usually do it is I create a menu that I like the look of. So a menu that, I create the items based on other restaurants that I've been to, or food that I love eating, or like replicating what you'd normally find in a regular cafe's menu, just replicating that and be like, okay, like how can I make this vegan? And from there, it's just trial and error. Like I'd usually cook one meal and it tasted horrible about 10 times. And I'd cook it once and then I'm like, okay, this time I need to do it too much salt this time. Or this time I've added, whoa, this needs more flavor. It tastes really bland. And it was just slowly chipping away. I would do one recipe at a time. And, eventually we did it. We
did it. Created you trained a whole team to do it.
Yeah.
That's a thing in itself as well. Someone that's never really run a kitchen before, and then you have a whole team of people.
Yeah, that was a challenge.
Yeah, but you nailed it. So that was the first start of your inspiration to start the vegan journey into opening a restaurant. You helped somebody else do that, but Kind wasn't in your mind at that stage.
It wasn't, no. So then, so we opened Peloton. That's the vegan cafe that I helped with their menu. And then after that, it just ignited this whole new passion for hospitality, this whole new passion for veganism. And from there, once I finished that with Peloton, I was consulting for a few restaurants here in Bali, adding vegan options to their menu. And So I was working in a cafe called Sea Circus at the time and adding vegan options to their menu. And me and the girl that was managing it, her name's Corinne, who's now my business partner / superwoman / soulmate. We were working together at Sea Circus, and I remember watching her work. She was managing it, and I remember just sitting there at the table, and I'm like, this girl is so passionate and so dedicated and just like the hardest working like Capricorn that I've seen. I'm like, I need to do business with her one day. I'm like, one day, I remember sitting there, we're jokingly at lunch, we're like, cause like we need to do a business together. Like, let's do something. We need to stop working for other people. We need to do something on our own. Woo. And I know. And literally it was just like a passing comment. Until about 3 days later, I reckon it was 2 or 3 days later, we saw a Facebook advertisement for a shop space available in Seminyak. And Cos was like, "Lo, I found this shop space. Like, it's just up the road. Like, we should go check it out." So we went and checked it out. And literally we walked in and we're like, oh, my God, like, this is perfect. Like, how has this even happened? Like, it's like, is this a coincidence, or like, is this meant to be? I remember just looking at each other and like, I think this is actually perfect. And then anyway, that was only one shop at the time. It was really tiny. It was about 3 by 10. I forget, just one tiny little shop space that we were going to do a grab and go juice and smoothie bar. So it originally started, we'd like, we'll do coffees, we'll do juices, like, you know, just like a little pit stop place for people to go by the gym, get healthy juices, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, then that's originally how Kind started, actually. That's originally before Kind was even thing. We're like, we're going to do a grab and go juice and smoothie bar. And then as we were signing the contract for this shop space, it all happened really fast. We signed the contract. We like didn't even really know where we're getting the money from. We like knew that we had one in, like, our parents could support us a little bit to loan us the money. We're like, we'll figure it out. Let's just get this space and then we'll figure out what concept we wanted to put in it. So as we were signing the lease to that space, the owner of the lands next door to us, who had the shop next door, was like, literally came over as we're signing the contract and like, "Girls, do you want to take my shop also?" And we're like, whoa. Like, I don't know. Like, we're just signing one. Like, I don't know about two. So we went home that night and we're like, we need to take that shop. Like, who are we kidding? Like, how are we going to fit anything in this one tiny little shop? Like, even if we just use that space for storage, like, so then we're like, okay, like, can we get the money? Like, try put down figures. And we're like, all right, like, I think we can get 2 spaces. So then we went back to the guy and we're like, we'll take your space as well. Wow. And from then, once we took the 2 shops, we're like, okay, now we can have a food offering. Like, now we can be more than just a grab and go juice and smoothie bar. Like, now we can offer food. And then my business partner, Corinne, she wasn't vegan. She's ate, meat was in every one of her meals. And she's, at the time, I thought there was no way that she would ever be vegan, or no way that she'd ever be open to doing vegan food. So when we decided to take the second space, and when Cos mentioned that we need to start serving food, I threw it out there on the table and I'm like, Cos, again, like, it has to be vegan. Like, we can't be serving any meat, we can't be serving any cheese. And she's like, she was open to vegetarian, because she's like, okay, like, we can do vegetarian, but we're serving cow's milk. Like, people need, if coffee's going to be one of our main things, we need to be like serving what, the customer, what they want. So, like, maybe you could just have some cheese or some cow's milk. And again, I just was like, I had this feeling. I was like, what do I do? Like, I was like, we can't, Cos. I'm like, it's got to be 100% vegan. Like, I'm like, come on. I'm like, same thing. I'm like, you watch some things. Let's watch some docos together. Like, let's like sit down and like see if this is the industry that you want to support.
Hey, I want to ask you, what are the docos that you have put in front of both those people?
Okay, so it usually starts with what the hell. Like, there's there's a few. It's changing because now there's so many new good ones.
Yeah.
Forks Over Knives, Food Matters, What the Hell, Earthlings, if you want to go real hard out and show them that's the horror movie. Earthlings, 101 Reasons to Go Vegan, the Gary Yukoski YouTube video. There was a lot. Like I usually pick what documentaries they should watch based on the type of person that they are. Like if it's for environmental, like if I feel they're more environmentalists or into that, like I would send them Cowspiracy. Or if I feel they're real compassionate about animals, send them Earthlings or, Forks Over Knives or... But yes, I've got a list now. I've got a list of documentaries, and when anyone's interested, I'm like, give me your email and I'll send you through my list.
Oh.
Like, yeah, it makes it a lot easier.
So you sat and watched these videos, and what happened after?
Okay, so I sat there, and then Cos was like, okay, like if you really think it should be vegan, let's do it. Like, let's do this vegan. It can be 100% vegan. And I was like,
I bet she's glad she made that decision with you.
Oh, 100, yeah. And she's pretty much now, she's 95% vegan. Like she has the occasional slip up, but she's pretty much there as well. And she's so passionate about like she comes from a real meat, like, and 2 veg type family. Like even now they think she's crazy. Like her parents like, what do you mean? Like when she told them she was opening a vegan cafe, they were both like, you're crazy. Like, why would you do a vegan? You're limiting, like no one's going to go there. Like you need meat. Like what will you serve for breakfast if you don't have eggs? And then anyway, so at that point,
response.
I know, typical. At that stage, yeah, we decided, we're like, okay, cool, it's going to be 100% vegan. And then so we were trying, and then we found the name Kind, which just fits so perfectly with our concept, with our mission, and with our message.
With the Y.
Kind with the Y, yeah, Kind with the Y.
No.
And so Kind was born. Like we started putting PowerPoint documentaries together, putting things together, and we're like, and at that stage we needed to find more investment. Like we're like, okay, if we're going to do this as a cafe and we're going to start serving food, we need some money to do that. We need to buy some things. And so Cos is so business savvy. She's great on all on computers, and created this epic PowerPoint documentary. And we pitched it to a few people. We pitched it to our parents and to one of our other best friends, Elise. And we're like, babe, we want to open this cafe. It's vegan, like, but we just need some money. And like, fortunately, like she's had our back from the start. She's like, you know what? I believe in you girls, and I know whatever you do is going to succeed. So here you go. Like, here's the money. Like, I'll lend it to you. Like, I'm stoked to be a part of your mission. So at that stage, like, okay, we've got the location, we've got the money. Like, now we just need to figure out how to do it. And so Kind was born.
Kind was born, and it was a big success. Like,
yeah. So
what happened?
Well, so I remember, like, I think we forecasted that we'd have 60 people through our doors. And even then, when we're doing like the forecast, we're like, 60 people? Do you really think we're going to get 60 people through our doors a day? And we're like, okay, let's just put that, like, we've got this. Let's get 60 people through our doors. Within the first 2 weeks, we legit had lines out the door. We were 200, 250 people. We had waiting lists. It was just like, I remember we opened it and we were like, whoa, like, what is going on? Why are these people here? Like, what's going on? Like, what do we do? It's so busy. We need more seats. We need more tables. And
how did you create that? Like, how did people become aware of it? Like,
honestly, I still question. Like, so when we were creating the menu and creating Kinds, we're like, we need a space that looks really cool, that has a really good atmosphere. We need to serve food that looks really cool, and it obviously needs to taste bomb. So like, we covered all. We've worked in hospitality for so long, and Cos is like, she's so good with the finer details. And Cos is she's got a marketing degree, so she is the genius behind our Instagram. So from the start, she's like, everything needs to be set up for people to take photos. She's like, Instagram is where it's at. If we can get people taking photos in our cafe, like, there's our marketing done. So everything we did was everything we did not only tasted really good but looked really cool, which helped. People would come there. We had a mural that said "Another Day in Paradise," which everyone wanted the photo. Like they just, and to this day, they still want that shot. They come to our cafe just to get the photo in front of that mural. We also have smoothie bowls where you can get your name, custom name written into your smoothie bowls. We cut the letters out of mango.
Wow.
Originally, yeah, you see it. It's all over our Instagram. Blew up as well. And originally, again, Cos comes to me. She's like, "Lol, we're going to start cutting people's names into smoothie bowls." And I'm like, "Cos, you're crazy. We are not." Do you know how long that takes? Like, we did it for 2. Like, we did it just for a few Instagram shots, and it took us forever. I'm like, "Cos, we can't do it. Like, it's just logistically, it ain't going to happen." And she's like, "Lol, we just need to figure out how to do it. Like, it needs to get done." So now, to this day, we pretty much have 3 people employed just to cut letters out of mango to put on smoothie bowls. But
you made it happen. You worked it out.
We made it happen, yeah. And so through with the thanks of Instagram, our social media blew up really fast. We're in an epic location, and people attract people. So it was busy. We had people lining up to get tables, so people would drive past and like, "What's going on here?" And
it sounds like it was all destined. From that story you just told me, it was like everything just came into place. It was like you were given the thought, and you saw Corinne sitting there, and you had the thought, "I want to do business with her," and then you just go down the street, and then there's the space, and we go, "Yeah, we don't have the money. But we'll just get the space and we'll work it out," and it just comes. Exactly. And then you open the doors, and it's a huge success. Like it was a space that had to happen there in Bali, around the world, so that people could come and experience amazing plant-based vegan food that's good for them, good for the planet, and obviously creates more kindness and love in the world. That is cool. So it expanded. It got so busy, and then you expanded. What was the next step? What happened then after Kind?
So it was just like it got to a point where it was too busy. Like it was crammed. There were people walking on top of each other, like everyone fighting to get a photo in front of this mural. And we realized we're like, we need more space. Like this, we can't offer the experience we want to offer when it's like so jam-packed and small. And then we're like, okay, actually our landlord next door who owned a space next door to us came to us and they're like, "You can take our space." And it was big though, and it was next door but behind us. So we're like, there's no shop frontage, like it's big. Are we ready for this? Like we can't really have Kind is part of the reason of our success because we're on the main street and people see how busy we are. So we're like, okay, well, either way, we need to take that space because we need storage. We can set up a prep kitchen, we can use that, and that can just be the storage area, and at least we've got more space for that. So we took the space, and that we built a prep kitchen there originally, and we started using it as storage and prep, and then quickly we realized that space needed to be Kind. Like once the lines were just too many people, like we couldn't serve everyone that we wanted to serve, and we came to the point where like, okay, let's turn this space into Kind. Like let's, again, same fears, same self-doubts, like can we do this? Like will it be busy? Will people still want to come here? Like if it's a big restaurant, will it still have that same vibe? Will it still have the same energy? So we sat down.
Isn't that interesting how the same fears and the beliefs keep coming up when we go to do something new?
It's every project I do, it's like this devil inside me that I have so much self-doubt and so much fear. It's crazy. Like even though I've done this before, I'm like, we've got Kind's booming, we've got lines out the door. Like why am I still so scared? Like why? But it's just doing something new, like change, like stepping into the unknown is really scary. It's like, and
what advice, I want to ask you, because you're able to overcome that hurdle. See, that hurdle stops a lot of people from moving forward in their life, and it just makes them stuck. But you have the ability to overcome that and keep moving. What advice or tips could you give people when that fear comes up to move forward?
Okay. Well, it's just, again, like, just trust that everything is going to work out. And if it doesn't, like, it's lessons, you know, everything is lessons. Like, you just keep, like, I stuffed up so many times initially. Like, I created meals and they tasted horrible, and like, I could have so easily stopped and been like, I can't do this. Like, well, I'm not a cook. Like, this is horrible. But instead, just like, you're learning, you know, any new project or any new thing that you're doing is going to be difficult and it's going to be challenging. But if you take the lessons and you keep trying and you keep, you know, you just have faith that you're going to be able to make it work, then you just slowly you build this trust and it just works. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. So do you keep the vision in your head of what it's eventually going to look like, or do you say certain things in your mind?
I think the vision for me is key. Like, I just like visualizing that space. Like, I remember I'd sit there and I'd like visualizing having this space and having people come and like eating my food and like really enjoying my food and being like, you know, I'd picture what they'd say back to me. And yeah, visualization, it helps. It's key, you know, like just keeping that vision in mind, like, and having, again, it all comes back to having the why. Like, if you're really passionate about something, like, you just figure out how to do it.
Thanks, Lol. Man, you're so inspiring. You know, even I get inspired hearing you, you know, because, you know,
you inspired me, Az.
Thanks, Lol. But, you know, it goes both ways. So all of us need a reminding that, you know, when that fear comes, it's okay. Keep hold of the vision. I'm very similar to you. I keep the vision in my mind, and I keep telling myself, it's okay. This is just a normal process. Just take it step by step. Just keep moving forward. You know?
It isn't natural. You know, we're human beings. We're supposed to feel those emotions. We're going to feel fear. We're going to feel self-doubt. We're going to feel sadness. We're going to be happy. We're going to feel like, it's they're emotions that we're naturally supposed to feel. It's just how much energy or how much food you're going to feed those emotions. Like,
yeah, true, absolutely.
Just like, yeah. So when you feel fear with anything, when you feel uncomfortable emotions, just feel it and know that it's impermanent. It's going to come. It's going to go, and just keep the vision inside. Keep
it inside, absolutely. Yeah. So tell me, what's Big Kind like now? Now that all the renovation's done and it's open, what's Big Kind like?
Big Kind is amazing. It's so good. I remember the first day we opened Big Kinds, again, like at this stage, so we've gone from the small space, moved to the big space, and it was big, you know, like usually we're used to everyone crammed up in our small space. This time we had so much space, and it was like we just opened the doors and it was dead. Like we had one customer. And I remember, like, my family came in, so it looked like a little bit more busy. And me and Cos sat at the table and we're like, we've blown it. Like, what did we do? Like, it's so quiet. Like, no one knows we're here anymore. Like, what are we going to do? Like, we just had this moment of panic.
Wow.
And then
I would.
I know. Like, it's literally just like, what have we done? And then about 10 o'clock, the cafe filled up and we had a waiting list again. And we had people waiting to get inside. And we just looked at me and Cos looked at each other and we high-fived each other and were like, thank you. Like, thank you. Whoever is out there. Like,
patience.
Yeah. So now we just had did some of our busiest days ever. It was high season here in Bali over the Christmas and New Year period. And we were serving around 600 people a day. Again, it's like we have people waiting 1 hour for tables sometimes.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy. Like, even I sit there, I'm like, why are you guys waiting so long? Like, it's like
good, and it's got a good vibe, and there's love in the space, man. There's love there. It's the love. You feel good in there.
But yeah, so now it's really good. We just offered we now do a dinner offering. So we serve dinner and cocktails. So up until now, we've been operating for about 1.5 years now. We were 1 year in our small space and about 5 months in our bigger space, 4 months in our bigger space. And so we just added dinner and cocktails to the menu, which also was a whole new experience for me, because dinner, you know, it's easy to do breakfast and lunch sort of foods, but dinner food was a whole...
So you've got a whole new menu for dinner. Give me some examples of what's on the menu for dinner. I can't wait to come and eat.
Yeah, you need to come test that out. So we've got like spaghetti bolognese. We've got salt and pepper squid, which tastes so much like the real thing. It's crazy. Buffalo cauliflower wings are a hit. We've got like Indian korma. We do fish and chips that we make the fish from banana blossom, from the flour on banana. We do tacos. Trying to think, we do Japanese ramen. Yeah.
I'm getting hungry. I can't wait to come back to Bali. It sounds like an awesome menu.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And the squid.
So, yeah. And so now we do dinner and cocktails, and Big Kind is booming, and we're so, so blessed, and we're so stoked. Each day I walk in there, I'm like, this is
good
so
on you. I'm so stoked for you. Like, to watch that journey, you know, to create, going through the emotional roller coasters, and to see you get there. I'm really, really happy for you, Lol.
Thank you, Az. Thank you so much. Thank you.
So happy. Now, because, you know, you come from this kindness and you're full of love. Anyone that knows you, you're one of the sweetest, most generous, giving people that make people feel happy just in your presence. I can understand, but I don't know how it happened. Give. How did that happen?
Okay, so Give was... actually, it was my dad also. My dad is a very generous, kind man, and he came to us one day and he's like, guys, I really want to do a not-for-profit business. I'm like, cool, Dad. Like, that sounds great. Good on you. Like, he's like, no, but I want you guys. Yeah, I know. He's a legend. He's like, but I want you guys to do it for me. I'm like, oh, like, what do you mean? He's like, well, like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know how to run a business. Like, would you guys be interested in helping me with something? And me and Cos, like, we've always wanted to do, we call Kind Community. We're going to call it Kind Cafe, but like, let's call it Kind Community, because we always intended on being more than just a cafe. Our vision was always to be, we don't just want to be one cafe. You know, we want to spread a message. We want to do more community projects. We want to give back. Like, giving back has always been part of our mission as well. So when Dad approached us with this, we're like, cool, like, yeah, we'll help you, Dad. Like, if you want to, let's do a cafe. You know, if you're interested in doing a cafe, then 100%, like, let's do it together. And then, so we were going to do a completely, we were originally going to do a completely different concept to Kind, but we're crazy. Like, we've got Kind, we've got this platform, like, let's do it under Kind umbrella, and we can, you know, still like have, like, we can still do our cafe, serve 100%. So at this stage, we didn't really know what concept it was going to be again. Like, okay, we can do a not-for-profit cafe, but what food are we going to sell, especially if it's not going to be the same as Kind? But there was a gap in the market for vegan local food, vegan Indonesian, like nasi campur. You know, like me, I love, like, I'm part Indo, like Asian, like I love nasi, like rice. You know, I want to eat rice, so I could eat rice for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was so hard to find vegan Indonesian food. So we're like, okay, cool, we can do an Indonesian concept, like a local concept, 100% vegan, and we'll give 100% of the profits back to charity. So then, so we were like, okay, we needed a name. Give fits with Kind, Give. Like, Give was born. We're like, okay, let's.
And it's so sweet. Like, I've eaten there, and, you know, I didn't realise that it was a vegan warung when I went. Like, I was expecting to have something like Kind. And then I went, wow, how cool is this? Because, you know, there's all these warungs. For those that don't know what a warung is, it's just it's a Indonesian restaurant, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is. And most of them have just these glass boxes with all these different bowls of meat and some vegetables and some rice, and you go, I'll have some of that, and that comes onto a plate, and then you eat it. But it's very hard to get the true Indonesian flavours as a vegan in Bali. There's a few vegan traditional places in Denpasar that you and I have been to. But when I saw this, and I went, oh, my God, how cool is this? And then I realised it's like, it's not for profit. And the staff gave me this disc, and they said, you just put it into wherever you want the profit to go. You just put it in. You've got this box that says for the animals, for the planet, for the humans. And I went, wow, how cool is that? And the food was amazing. I'm going, oh, my God, how good is it to eat vegan Indo food and get the true flavours of Indonesia? Thanks, lol.
Yeah.
Like,
it is pretty yummy. I'm eating there all the time as well. But, yeah, so we, like you said, we support 3 Bali-based charities. One is for the people, one is for the planet, and one is for the animals. So each customer, when they purchase a meal or when they dine with us at Give, we give them a little token, and they choose where they want the profits to go to. So the company, the foundation we're working with for the people is called Puspadi. They work with bringing prosthetic limbs or wheelchairs to villages or people in Bali that would not usually have access to them. And that's really cool. We went to their centre in Denpasar, and you go there and they're people that have lost limbs, whether it's from birth defects or accidents, and they build these prosthetic limbs for them in this centre, and then you see them apply the limbs to these people and see them walk for the first time. You know, they haven't walked. Like, you see them sorry, I just got muted.
That's okay, I got you.
Am I back?
Yep, you're back. Yep.
Cool. It keeps muting for some reason. And then, so yeah, you see these people walk for the first time, and it's so, so moving and so inspiring. So, Puspadi is the people we're working for the people. We're working with MPH for the planet, which is helping build waste management systems for the villages in Bali, teaching them about the importance of separating waste. Anyone who's been to Bali sees how bad the waste management systems are here. There's rubbish, there's plastic everywhere. So they're really cool. And then we're using for the animals, we're working with a company called Mission Pausable, and they're working with all the street dogs and, helping find homes, dogs and cats, but helping find home for all of the street animals and vaccinating them. And, so that's really cool. And you would have seen the quote there, actually. The quote that we go by and that really resonates with us is, when you have more than you need, build a bigger table, not a higher fence.
Wow.
So
wow.
We're like, we've got more than we need. We've got this booming cafe. Like, let's give back. Like, let's give back to the community and to the people of Bali especially. And, like, it's really cool because when we first opened Give, we were doing training with our staff, and like we really wanted to make sure our staff knew what they were worth. Like, we're like, you're not working for a normal cafe. Like, it's not, like, we give 100% of our profits back to charity. And like, I remember the look on all of our staff's faces, like they just didn't quite understand. They were like, what do you mean? Like, what for? Like. And they were just really hesitant at the fact they thought that maybe if it was not for profit that they wouldn't get paid or that they wouldn't get their salaries. I'm like, no, like, you get your normal pay, you get all like everything you would normally get. But we as owners take zero profit. We don't take any management fees. We take nothing. Like 100% of these profits go back to the people. And now, like, if you walk in to Give, like, our staff are so passionate. Like, they love it, they go up to the tables and they're like, they explain to them, like, do you know what our mission is? Like, this is what we do. And like, bless them, like, they're such amazing staff. And
I can vouch for that. And they also think they also think that they've got amazing leaders, bosses as well. As I said, what's Lol like as a boss? And they go, she's the best. Oh yeah, what's so cool about it? She's so kind.
Our staff are our biggest asset. Like if they feel good in their workplace, then like you can't have them coming to work and not feeling good or not feeling passionate about it, because they're not going to be able to spread the message that we want. So yeah, our staff, we love our staff. They're like our family, and we do our best. Like, yeah, kindness has to spread through all aspects of our business.
Wow,
you know, it's got to go from us to them and them to the customer.
You've got that kind culture happening. Awesome. Now, there's one last step in your journey. That's the Kind Creamery.
Yep.
Sugarholic.
The creamery we opened about 2 weeks ago, just before Christmas, and so we needed to think of something to open in our old space, so where Baby Kind first was, and we had all of these different ideas of what we were going to do, but we also wanted a space to sell merchandise. So again, Tanya, my sister, has In the Soul Shines. She makes vegan teas. We were selling them in our small space, and so many people wanted them. Like, it would be people were coming just to the cafe to get those teas. So when we had the bigger space, we didn't have a space to offer them. So okay, let's turn Baby Kind into a space that sells merchandise, and we needed something to complement that. And we're like, ice cream. Let's do vegan ice cream. So we're working with a couple of suppliers here in Bali that previously weren't making vegan ice creams, but we sat with them and like, look, we're opening a creamery. We need vegan ice cream. Can you make it for us? And they're like, well, we've never tried, but like, leave it with us and we'll give it a shot. And they came back with like all of these different flavors of vegan ice cream, and it is next level ads. We've got salted caramel, peanut butter, Ferrero Rocher, coffee, like all these sorbets.
Whoa.
Again, we make them quite Instagrammable. All of our cones are decorated. We write Bali written in them. And yeah, it's been a real hit. So now we've got our 3 little babies, and we're coming into low season here in Bali, which is really cool because I'm going on a holiday.
Are you? Awesome. Well deserved break by the sounds of it, because it's been a good few years, yeah?
Yeah, it's been a good solid few years, and I think like it's, me and Cos were like, okay, what's next? Like, we've got this, like, what are we going to do next? Should we open like in the Bukit? Should we open in Ubud? Like, should we open in Canggu? And then we just looked at ourselves and like, you know what we should do? We should just stop for a moment, and we should just breathe, and let's take it all in, and let's appreciate what we've got. Like, it's so easy to get lost in this chase of like wanting more and doing, you get the house, you want the car, you get just constantly wanting more and more and more. But often like we forget to just stop and be like, okay, like what have I got? Like this is, and just appreciate everything. And so, yeah, we had this, we decided that for the next few months we're just going to chill, and we're just going to embrace everything we've got. We're going to put all of our love and energy into the business that we have, and then after that we'll start thinking about what's next.
I'm sure it will be revealed. But I think it's really important what you've done there, because, I'm a little bit older than you, have been down the track, and we can lose sight of what's really important and also lose sight of what we've already got. So you're a wise girl to be able to realise that, you can get on that treadmill of chasing, wanting more, rather than just step back and go, be grateful for where we are now, celebrate what's already happened. Celebrate what's already happened, and breathe and just enjoy and take some time for yourself to keep balance.
Yeah.
How do you keep balance? Because I know that, other things in your life, it's not just business. You've got, you are a very spiritual person. Tell us a bit about you, Lol. What do you enjoy doing, and what do you love?
Well, actually, since going vegan, it was a time in my life where, so veganism to me is so much more than just a diet. Like, it changed me. It altered my views spiritually, physically, mentally. Like, it was a time in my life where I started to connect more, I guess. Like, I was so disconnected to real me, or to everything. I was disconnected to the food I was putting into my body. It was like, the moment I went vegan, it started this whole, you could call it a spiritual journey, an awakening, but it just made me realize that there's so much more like that I didn't understand. Like there's so much more than just this physical body. Like it was actually, I went to India not long after going vegan. I remember telling you this story as well. And India changed my life. Like it changed my life. The biggest lesson I got from India was we are so much more than just this physical body. And I started to connect spiritually. And to me, spirituality just means believing in something, in spirit, believing in a higher energy, or in whether you want to call it God, universe, love, whatever that word may mean to you. But it's
like the energy that sustains us all.
Yeah.
That flows through you, through me, through the plants, through the animals. It's all the one energy.
Yeah. It's all the one energy, exactly. So, it was India. It really kick-started my spiritual journey. And from there, I've just been so passionate about, I just read a lot of books. Again, I've got a list of all these books that have changed my life, and just stop me from chasing this materialistic happiness. Because, materialistic happiness is temporary, again, you get the car you want, you're just chasing all the time. We never feel satisfied. And spiritual happiness was the first time, when I started doing this work and started doing this research, it's just this feeling of love and happiness, and it's permanent, and it becomes addictive. It's okay, what is this? Why do I feel so good right now? I need more of this. I need.
How do you access it? How do you access that?
How do I access the knowledge or the feeling?
The feeling. How do you access it?
I think through, for me, the more research I did, it's just it all comes back to presence. For me, it's just being in this moment, stepping out. The mind, the ego wants to dwell on the past and all these issues that have happened, or bring all of this negative energy, or we're constantly anxious about the future. What am I going to do? What happens if this fails? We're constantly fearing this. We're fearing we bring so much energy into moments that haven't even happened, that we forget, we don't appreciate what's going on in front of us, and we lose sight of what's going on in front of us. So for me, it's the thing that gets me back, what makes me feel good is gratitude. Gratitude is the first thing, gratitude, giving back, presence, just working on connecting with me, connecting with outside of this physical body, connecting with real me, and through that work and through that knowledge, it's brought me this overwhelming feeling of joy and love and happiness. So how I keep balance: spiritual work, meditating. I've dabbled in meditation for a few years, but now it's just, I realize the importance of it. So I'm really trying to get better with my meditation, trying to do a little bit in the morning, a little bit in night.
Awesome.
And it's really helped me. So spiritual work, keep finding more. There's so much, we live in an age of information. There's so much information, books, podcasts. It's I keep reading. Now I'm trying to put down my phone, less Instagram, more knowledge, keep finding out this information. And from there, it allows me to connect more with myself, connect more with God, universe, whatever you want to call it. And spiritual work is an important part of my routine. Physical activity, I love exercise. My boyfriend is a physical trainer. He's really passionate about exercise. So we've got a little gym. He's about to open a not-for-profit CrossFit gym in our house.
Wow.
So we're renovating a place around the corner, and he's also opening a little gym where he's going to train local Indonesians to, he feels that exercise should be something that's accessible to all people. Doesn't matter, because here in Bali, there's a lot of gyms, but they're quite expensive. So unfortunately, it's not really accessible for the locals. So that's really cool. We're going to have, it's called CrossFit Conscious.
Awesome.
We're going to have a not-for-profit gym at our house. And so, physical exercise, movement is key. another part of me, it's like the balance of mind, body, spirit. Like, if especially through the work we're doing, it can be quite stressful. So if you don't take the time to really focus on you, you can get lost in this chase and in the work, and it so easily puts you out of balance. So for me, it's waking up every morning, meditating, moving, going for a walk on the beach, doing exercise, and making sure I'm conscious of the foods and the environment that I put myself in.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's like, it's interesting you just said then, you start your day like that, and that's when the space is right for it. And then you can take it through, that energy flows through the entire day, do you find? It just
100%.
flows. And it's interesting that it all started with the food. The consciousness, awareness starts to come when you eat the food, and then opens up to more spirituality and movement.
Yeah, amazing. And that's why I became so passionate about veganism, because like, it is so much more than just a diet, and unfortunately there are some vegans where it's like you get so passionate about it that you become quite angry, you get angry that people aren't vegan, and unfortunately it puts a negative image on veganism, and it can deter a lot of people from this lifestyle, and they're like, oh, you crazy vegans, like you're just so extreme, like, but it's like, what's extreme about eating like a plant-based like lifestyle where like it's the best for the, what's extreme about it's, like we're doing the best that we can for the planet and for ourselves. And like, so I became really passionate about that because of that reason. Like, it changed my life like on so many different levels. And then it makes sense, like we eat 3 times a day, and like if you're putting, everything is energy, like if you're putting foods of low vibration or energies of like, before an animal is slaughtered, it releases fear and stress and anxiety. All of these emotions get released into its flesh, and then we go and consume the flesh, and we wonder why we're so, our society is so angry and so depressed and so disconnected. Like, we're fueling our body with foods of low vibration, and like we can't expect to, like, if food is what fuels our body, so we can't expect to be vibrating on these or connecting to higher energies if we're consuming such low vibrational foods.
Exactly. It raises your vibration. You start eating plants and your vibration rises. You stop eating animals, your vibration rises, and as that rises, consciousness opens and you see the world in a different way.
Exactly. Like, even now, like, I just feel this, like, I'm so passionate about it.
Like, I can feel it. It's coming through the screen.
Such a gift. And I just, like, and for me, the best way has been, like, when I first went vegan, it was hard because I didn't know the reason. Like, when people would ask me why I was vegan, like, instead of being able to tell them passionately, like, I was scared. I was scared. I feared what they would think of me. And it was like, I wouldn't really go into why I was vegan for that reason. Like, I'll just be like, oh, like, it's just like just a personal choice. And like, I didn't want it, because you can get into art. Like, sometimes people get so defensive, and it's like, and it can quickly turn from just a general conversation to a heated conversation. And it's like, and then as soon as you get defensive, or as soon as you try and push anything on any of your like visions or something on someone else, it's like they build a wall, and it's like you're actually, instead of trying to plant seeds and help people become vegan, you're actually pushing them away from veganism. So I found that the best way and the most influential way for me to spread the message is to lead by example. Now if people ask me about my vegan journey, I just, instead of going into facts and figures, I just tell them what it's done for me. And I'm like, this is my story, and I hope that from my story they might gain something out of it. And if they do, great. If they don't, each to their own. Everyone's walking a different path.
Everyone's walking a different path and at different stages in their journey and evolution. Yeah. And we need to remember that. And it could be one, I'm the same. When you first start out, you want to just change the world with it. Then you become a little wiser and you realise that people who are interested will ask questions. So when they ask question, then I'll answer the question, and if there's another question, I'll answer it. And then if it doesn't continue with question, and gets challenging, I just leave and say, that's okay, you know, you're free to do whatever you eat, however you like, you know, there's no issue with that. You know, it's all cool.
And
no problem. I just choose to eat this way. That's so sweet.
Yeah, and you can usually tell at the start of the conversation, you can usually tell at the start of the conversation what direction it's heading by what questions they ask.
Totally.
So yeah, if you're genuinely interested, like I get excited, I'm like, here we go, like plant more seeds. But if it's like, if I feel the energy that they're not vibing in, I'm like, cool, yeah, same thing. It's a personal choice, you know, each to their own.
Totally. Spot on. And I think it's the best way to do it, lead by example. And
no judgment, like you said.
No judgment.
Yeah, each to their own.
I love that, no judgment. That is such a beautiful way to end on this, because it's the judgment that creates suffering, you know.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's judging, everyone should be doing it my way or your way or whatever. You know,
we are all one. We're all walking the same journey. Like the egos separates us, but we're just like, you know, spread love, spread good vibes, like stop being so angry. Eat vegan, everyone, eat vegan. And it changes your life. Honestly, it changes your life. Like,
it does change your life, Lol. Lol, thank you for spending some time with us, having a chat, being so open and generous and full of love like you always are, and sharing your journey with us and inspiring us to, you know, continue to eat plants, you know, eat vegan. And thanks for creating such amazing places for us to go and eat and enjoy good food.
Yeah, I can't wait for you to come and check out the new spaces.
Yeah, I'll be there. Actually, Rose and Lily and Felix, I'll be over at the end of the month, I think. So you'll probably see them.
I'm coming to Byron next week. I start my holiday next week. So
we're going to need to catch up and eat. It'll be good.
Eat some plant-based food. Yummy.
How long are you here for?
Not probably only a week, unfortunately, but long enough.
That's long enough. Cool. Well,
thank you so much.
Let's catch up and go and have a bite when you're here.
Yeah, definitely.
Sounds good. Well, all the best. Now, if people want to find you, I'm going to put all your links to everything, but it's very easy. Just tell us, where can people get in contact with you?
So we've got our Instagram, Kind Community, or if you want to follow the Give journey, we've got Give Cafe. My personal is Lol Bali. It's just my journey, my story. But yeah, Instagram's the easiest way for us to connect these days. So
okay. Thanks, Lol. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Bye.